What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night news roundup, where I'm going to take you through the main topics that we discussed in tonight's late night agenda in a bite-sized format that'll stop you having to sift through the full 90 minutes. We're going to discuss a really interesting take on Mohamed Salah and his future. We're going to ask, is he really disappointed with the transfer business Liverpool did? We'll talk about Ibrahima Konate and his future, a Brazilian wonderkid, and lots more. Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoy the video, and thank you so much to everybody that did come back for tonight's late night agenda. My first one back after a couple of days off, and as always, you guys made me feel most welcome. Right, let's get cracking. There's a lot to go through. We're going to start off with a report coming out of TZ Munich that said Bayern Munich defender Ibrahima Konate has been offered to Liverpool. The French centre-back's contract expires in the summer and negotiations for a renewal have stalled. I can't be the only one that's not overly impressed with Ibrahima Konate. And like I've said numerous times, when Leipzig sold their two centre-backs, I really feel that when we got Konate, we got the better one. Now, while we're on the topic of defenders, Anfield Index, shout out to those guys, have said Liverpool are big fans of Celta Vigo defender Oscar Mingueza, whose contract expires in the summer. Now, I don't know very much, if anything, about Mr. Mingueza, so do let us know in the comments if you've watched much of Celta Vigo and if he's somebody that you think could be worth a look. Now, I haven't really got an answer for a lot of people on where Stefan Bajcetic is in his recovery, but Lewis Steele has said this about him. Liverpool still believe that Stefan Bajcetic can hit the levels he hit when he first broke into the team in the 2022-23 season. And while we're talking about our owners, Liverpool's owners are set to receive a significant financial windfall after agreeing in principle to sell the Pittsburgh Penguins in a deal that values the NHL franchise somewhere between $1.7 and $1.8 billion. Now look, who cares about the NHL? You're here for the Brazilian Wonder Kid. I'm here for the Brazilian Wonder Kid. Do you know what? Let's talk about the Brazilian Wonder Kid. Liverpool are looking at Grêmio Wonder Kid winger Gabriel Mech, according to Nico Shearer. The 17-year-old has previously been compared in style to Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. and currently represents Brazil at youth international level. He's known for his ability to play on both flanks with ease. Now, I do feel we've missed out on a lot of talented South Americans in recent years. Obviously, some of them going to Chelsea, some of them going to other parts of Europe, some of them going to Chelsea again for the likes of Enzo Fernandez. So I do think that is a market we've underexploited in recent times. So I haven't watched much of the youngster, but do let me know your thoughts on him. And who doesn't love the idea of a Brazilian wonder kid? Dare I bring up Bobby Firmino? Not really a wonder kid at the time, but certainly a wonderful player and somebody who I still love dearly to this day. Lewis Steele has said that talks are underway over a new deal for Alexis McAllister, but they are very preliminary at this stage. Also, Indie tonight broke the news that was somehow an exclusive, even though it isn't, to say that Liverpool are in conversations with Dominic Szoboszlai over a contract extension as they look to ward off interest from other clubs in Europe. And look, this has been doing the rounds for a few weeks now, so look, it's good news, but certainly not an exclusive. Right, the Evening Standard have said that Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner believes that England defender Mark Gay will see out his contract by staying till the end of the season. Now, I wish Mr. Glasner would shut up talking about Mark Gay and put a bit more focus on telling the Crystal Palace fans whether he's going to stay when his contract expires in the summer. A little bit of deflection there, perhaps, from Mr. Glasner. Lewis Steele on Adam Wharton to Liverpool has said this: nothing imminent. I can't see Liverpool signing a midfielder in January, but I think Adam Wharton certainly has his admirers at Anfield, and he could be one to watch for the summer. This is the really interesting part of this story, and hopefully the reason why you clicked on the video when you'd seen the wording on the thumbnail. And it comes from Lewis Steele, and it's pretty damning, to be honest, so let me read it out to you. Lewis writes, from conversations I had in the last 10 days or 2 weeks, this is a deeper issue than just being benched, speaking about the Mohamed Salah situation. Although Salah wouldn't ever say it, I don't think he was overly convinced by the summer business and how Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak were being named as players to carry Liverpool forward. The Frankfurt game away, he came off the bench late on and could have laid it off to Florian Wirtz for a tap-in, but he didn't. He looked frustrated a full time, and it was that night, Lewis Steele writes, that Mohamed Salah deleted all mention of Liverpool Football Club from his Twitter profile. This wasn't something that happened like that, and the frustration was building. And I don't think this frustration has gone away. And I don't think we've seen the last of this drama. But more on Mo to come in a little bit. Lewis Steele also said that Ibrahima Konate and Liverpool have been in talks over a new deal for nearly 18 months. So far, they've been very far apart. Konate wants to be recognised as one of the best players in the Liverpool squad and one of the most important. Liverpool aren't quite prepared to pay him that level of Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, these sorts of players. And they're not wrong. He goes on to say, Ibrahima Konate's hand has been significantly weakened by his performances this season. However, Liverpool are not likely to withdraw any offer, with the club set to take a more measured approach. They still think he's one of the best defenders in Europe. Do let me know where your heads are at with that one, because look, I want him to stay, but nowhere near the level of pay that Van Dijk and Salah are on, because I just don't think he's earned it. Lewis Steele this time speaking about Mark Gay, and I said to you guys a few weeks ago that my understanding was that he'd given his word. Lewis Steele didn't say that, but he's kind of intimated that it might not be too far removed from it. He said, I still think Liverpool have a really good chance of signing Mark Gay. I just wonder if there's an under-the-table gentleman's agreement between Liverpool and Gay from September the 1st or whenever the date was that they were close to signing him. He goes on to say that Jeremy Frimpong will be back in full training in the next couple of days, or if not, certainly next week. On Federico Chiesa, and this really annoys me, by the way, and I wasn't the only one tonight's stream that it annoyed. He goes to say that, and this is Lewis Steele, Arne Slot wouldn't mind me saying it, just doesn't seem to like that he trusts Chiesa. Doesn't seem like he trusts Chiesa. That's just a guess that I got, because I know when they lost at Plymouth, Arne Slot was furious with Chiesa. He was one of the senior players on that day, and he just didn't seem to perform. A few people have said how frustrated Slot was. I just think what Chiesa has to do is prove to Arne Slot that he deserves a chance, because if you lose in every game, you can't get a game, then you sort of think that maybe he doesn't like him at all. It seems to me like Chiesa could come off the bench and score every week, and he still wouldn't play. That is pathetic from Arne Slot, because you throw him into a very, very changed team that lost to Plymouth, and it's solely somehow Chiesa's fault, because he's the only one that's been held to account in the way he has, and it's just pathetic, and I don't like it. And something else I don't like is agreeing with Troy Deeney, which I'm about to do. Again, I don't like it, but I do. So let's talk. He said, Hugo Ekitike, the most underrated striker in the Premier League. 2 goals in back-to-back games. The kid scores. He comes off after 70 minutes for Isak. Fantastic signing. He'll be pushing Erling Haaland all the way for most goals. This kid is mustard. He's the real deal. Another one who'll be looking at the World Cup and thinking he's got to go. He can play off the left-hand side alongside Kylian Mbappe for France. That's twice this season I've agreed with Troy Deeney. I can't make a habit of it, but I don't think he's wrong. I do think he's spot on with this one. Now, Gary Neville has said something that is really blunt, but also potentially fair. He said, Salah will not sit down and watch Gakpo play football. These players don't sit and watch players that are inferior. There could be a point to that, you know. Gakpo hasn't been great this season, but, you know, in fairness, Salah's situation is one of, I think, Salah's own making, really. So let's wait and see what you guys think about that in the comments. Do let us know your thoughts. Asked if Mohamed Salah will leave the club in January, Jamie Carragher said this: I think if Liverpool get the money they want, then it probably will. I think if they don't want that, I think they'll think that they don't want the hassle, i.e. the situation getting worse. I'd love him to stay, and I think he can have a better send-off and an impact between now and the end of the season. This just in from David Ornstein. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca is one of the leading names on Manchester City's shortlist should Pep Guardiola leave the club next summer. City are already progressing contingency plans in case a managerial change becomes necessary. Guardiola's current deal expires in 2027. So, my friends, we've gone through a lot over the last 9 or 10 minutes. Do let me know your thoughts on the Salah situation. the situation with Jamie Carragher thinking he could leave in January for the right number, and everything else we covered in this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a video out in the morning with Connor. I'll be here in the evening time with a video, and then of course the late night agenda tomorrow night. Until then, much love. Thank you for watching. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.